Yes.
Okay, so we are now at. Oh, one moment. Let me check your record first. Okay, here we go. Stage 5, 348. Okay, so here's the first question. 47, 40. Okay, here we go. What does the active voice communicate? What does the active voice communicate? The active
The
voice
active voice
communicates that the
communicates
subject
that the
does
subject
the action.
does the action.
Very good. What does the passive voice communicate? What does the passive voice communicate? The passive voice
Passive voice
communicates that the
communicates
subject
as the subject
receives the action.
receives the action.
Very good. Okay, next. What do we form? How do we form the passive voice? How do we form the passive voice? We form the
We
passive
form the
voice
passive
with the
voice
verb to be
with the verb to be
and the past
and the
participle.
past participle.
Give me some examples. Give me some examples, please. My car
My
was
car
washed
was washed
last month.
last month.
Many computers
Many
are made
computers
in China.
are made in China.
The students
The
will be
students will be
taught by the
uh,
teacher.
by the teacher.
Very good, right? The students
The
will
students
be taught,
will be taught
taught like past tense of teach, will be
uh,
taught
will be taught
by the teacher.
by the teacher.
Very good. Okay, now I'm going to give you some sentence in the active voice and I want you to put it in the passive voice. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Number one. John eats the pasta. John eats the pasta. The pasta
The
is
pasta
eaten by John.
is eaten by John.
John ate the pasta. John ate the pasta. The pasta
The
was
pasta
eaten by John.
was eaten by John.
John has eaten the pasta. John has eaten the pasta. The pasta
The
has
pasta
been eaten
has been eaten
by John.
by John.
Very good. John will eat the pasta. John will eat the pasta. The pasta
The
will
pasta
be eaten
will
by
be
John.
eaten by John.
Very good. John is eating the pasta. John is eating the pasta. The pasta
The
is
pasta
being eaten
is being eaten
by John.
by John.
Very good. John was eating the pasta. John was eating the pasta. The pasta
The
was
pasta
being eaten
was being eaten
by John.
by John.
Very good. John would eat the pasta. John would eat the pasta. The pasta
The
would
pasta
be eaten
would be
by
eaten
John.
by John.
Very good. Now we're going to practice with some different sentences. Okay. Here we
Okay.
go. I clean my car every Saturday. I clean my car every Saturday. My car
My
is
car
cleaned by
is
me
cleaned by me
every Saturday.
every Saturday.
Very good. She forgot him. She forgot him. He was forgotten
He was
by
forgotten
her.
by her.
My boss is going to write that email. My boss is going to write that email. That email
That
is
email
going to be
is
written
going to be written
by my boss.
by my boss.
Very good. We are fixing the car. We are fixing the car. The car
The
is
car
being fixed
is being fixed
by
by
us.
us.
Very good. Have followed all the advice. They have followed all the advice. All the
All,
advice.
all the advice
All the advice
or the advice
has been
to,
followed by
has
them.
been followed by them.
Very good. Okay. Do I force you to give long answers during the lesson? Do I force you to give long answers during the lesson? Yes, you force
Yes,
me
you
to give
force me to give
long answers during the
the,
lesson.
the answers
During the lesson.
during the lesson
Why? Why? Because it is
because it
important
is
to
important
speak as
to
much as
speak
possible. As much as possible.
as much as possible.
Very good. When you were a child, did your parents make you eat your vegetables? When you were a child, did your parents make you eat your vegetables? Yes or no?
Yes,
When I
I
was a
when
child,
I was a child,
my parents
my
made me
parents
eat
made me eat
my vegetables.
my vegetables.
Very good. What kind of films make you laugh? What kind of films make you laugh? The kind of
The
films
kind of
that make
films
me laugh
that make me laugh
are comedy
are
films.
comedy films.
Very good. What is a snack? What is a snack? A snack
A
is
snack
something
is
small
something small
that people eat
that people eat
between meals,
between
like a
meals,
sandwich
like a
or a
sandwich
bag of
or
crisps.
a bag of crisps.
Very good. Which would you prefer as a snack during a morning break? A bag of crisps or some biscuits? Which would you prefer as a snack during a morning break? A bag of crisps or some biscuits? I'd prefer
I prefer some biscuits
two, a
to
bag of
a
crisps
bag of crisps
during a morning break.
during the morning break.
Very good. Where were you born? Where were you born? I was born in.
I was born in Japan.
Very good. How soon after you were born did you learn to walk? How soon after you were born did you learn to walk? I learned to walk
I learned to walk
about a year
about a year
after I was born.
after I was born.
Very good. Do you like reading books with stories about murders in them? Do you like reading books with stories about murders in them? Yes or no?
Yeah, no,
I
I don't
don't like reading
like
books
reading books
with
some
stories
with
about
stories
murders in them.
about murders in them.
Very good. Would you like to see inside a prison? Would you like to see inside a prison? Yes or no?
No,
I
I
wouldn't
wouldn't
like
like
to see
to
inside a
see
prison.
inside a prison
Very good. Why? Why? Why not?
because,
Because it'd make
because
me
it make me
feel very unhappy.
feel very unhappy.
Very good. What's a pupil? What's a pupil? A pupil
The
is a
pupil
child
is a
who's
child
in school.
who's in school.
Do most pupils in your country have to wear a uniform? Do most pupils in your country have to wear a uniform? Yes or no?
Yes,
Most
the most
pupils in my
pupils
country
in my
have to
country
wear a
have to
uniform.
wear a uniform.
Very good. What do we call the part of a tree that's in the land? What do we call the part of a tree that's in the land? We call
We
the
call
part of
the
a
part
tree
of a tree
that's in the land,
that's in the
the
land,
roots.
the root.
Very good. Have you got a good memory? Have you got a good memory? Yes or no?
No,
I
I
haven't got a
haven't
good
got
memory.
a good
I've
memory.
got a bad
I've
memory.
got a bad memory.
Very good. What can we use instead of I'm not, you aren't, and he isn't? What can we use instead of I'm not, you aren't, and he isn't? Instead of I'm not,
Instead of I'm
you
not,
aren't,
you
and
aren't,
he isn't.
and he isn't.
We can use
We
I'm
can
not,
use
you're
I'm
not,
not,
and
you are
he's
not,
not.
and he's not.
Very good. If you want to go from one side of the road to the other, what must you do? If you want to go from one side of the road to the other, what must you do? If I want to go
If I want to
from
go
one side
from
of
one
the road
side of
to
the
the
road
other,
to the
I
other,
must cross the
I
road.
must cross the road.
What must you do before crossing the road? What must you do before crossing the road? I must look
I must
both
look
ways
for ways
before crossing the road.
before crossing the road.
Very good. If you wanted to go from there to Okinawa, would you have to cross the sea or would you be able to go all the way by land? If you wanted to go from there to Okinawa, would you have to cross the sea or would you be able to go all the way by land? If I wanted
If I
to
wanted
go from here
go from here
to
to
Okinawa,
Okinawa,
I'd have to cross
I'd
the
have
sea.
to cross the sea.
I wouldn't be able
I wouldn't be
to
able
go all the way
to go
by
all the
land.
way by land.
Very good. What was the first thing you thought of when you woke up this morning? What was the first thing you thought of when you woke up this morning? The first thing
The
I
first thing
thought of,
I've I've
I
what
thought
I've
of
I
when
thought
I
of
woke up this
when I
morning
woke up this morning
was,
was my mobile phone.
no, very good. Okay. What's the opposite of the word dangerous? What's the opposite of the word dangerous? The opposite
The
of the
opposite
word
of
dangerous
was
is
dangerous
safe.
is a
Do you think it's safe to shop online? Do you think it's safe to shop online? Yes or no?
no. I
I
don't
don't think
think
it's safe to
it's
shop
safe
online.
to shop online.
Do parents often worry about their children's safety? Do parents often worry about their children's safety? Yes,
Yes,
parents often
parents
worry about
often worry about
their children's
their
safety.
children's safety.
Is it safe for young children to cross the road on their own? Is it safe for young children to cross the road on their own? No, it
No,
isn't
it
safe
isn't safe
for young children
for young
to
children
cross the road
to cross
on
the
their own.
road on their own.
Do you like going
It
on holiday on your own? Do you like going on holiday on your own? Yes or no?
No, I
I
don't like.
going on holiday.
I'm going on
Or,
holiday.
no, I don't
No,
like
I don't
going
like
on holiday
going on
on
holiday
my own.
on my
I
own.
prefer going
I prefer
in
going
company.
in company.
Very good. What's the past of the verb to lie? What's the past of the verb to lie? The past
The
of the
past
verb to
of the
lie
verb to
is
lie
lay.
is lay.
How long did you lie in bed for last night? How long did you lie in bed for last night? I lay in
I
bed
lay in
for
bed for 6 hours
last night.
last night.
Very good. Okay. When do people use the word sir and madam? When do people use the word sir and madam? People use
People
the
use
word sir
the word
and
sir
madam
and
to
madam
be polite
to be
when
polite
they are speaking
when they are
to
speaking
their customers
to their
in a shop,
customers in the shop
their
or
officers
their
in
officers
the army,
in the army
or their
or
teachers
their
at school.
teachers at school.
Greg, give me an example. Give me an example, please. Excuse me, sir.
Excuse me,
Can
sir,
I help you?
can I help you?
Very good. When do we use the words gentleman and lady? When do we use the words gentleman and lady? We use
We
the
use
words
the
gentleman
word
and
gentleman
lady
and lady
instead of man
instead of
and
man
woman
and
when
women
we want to
when we
sound
want
polite.
to so
Sound
polite,
polite.
sound polite.
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. Which of these
Which of
two
these
gentlemen
two
gave you
gentlemen
the book?
give you the book?
And will you ask
And will
that
you ask
lady
that
her name,
lady
please?
her name, please?
Very good. Okay, next. What's your title? What's your title? My title
My
is
title
Miss.
is Miss.
Give me examples of sir and lady used as titles. Give me examples of sir and lady used as titles, please. Some examples
Some
of
examples
sir and
of
lady
sir and
used
lady
as titles.
use as titles.
Used as titles.
Use use past I
Used as.
use ask.
Like this. Used as
Use
titles
use as titles
are Sir Paul
are
McCartney
Sir Paul McCartney
and
and
Lady Diana.
Lady Diana.
Very good. Okay, so that's the end of our revision. Let's have the break.
Okay.
Okay, very good. Okay, so let's start. Repeat. Standard.
Standard
Height.
height.
Very good. Okay, listen. Height is a noun. It means how tall the person or something is. For example, I'm 175 centimeter tall. My height is 175 centimeter. Standard is an adjective. It means regular or usual or common. For example, the usual height for a woman in my country is 154 centimeter. Or we can say the standard height for a woman in my country is 154 centimeter. By standards of living, when we say standards of living, we mean the degree of wealth and material comfort available to a person or community. For example, Denmark and Switzerland have the highest standards of living in the world. Let's practice. Which two countries have the highest standards of living in the world? Which two countries have the highest standards of living in the world? Denmark
The
and
Denmark
Switzerland
in Switzerland
have the highest
have the
standard of
highest
living
standard
in the
of
world.
living in the world.
What's the standard height for a woman in your country? What's the standard height for a woman in your country? The standard height
The standard
for a
height
woman
for
in
a
my
woman
country
in my
is
country is 157 centimeter
centimeters. Very good.
centimeters.
157 centimeters. Very good. Next, repeat colorful.
Colorful.
Very good. Okay, listen. Colorful is an adjective. It means having bright colors or a lot of different colors. For example, 16th century fashion in men's clothes were full of colors, or 16th century fashion in men's clothes were very colorful. Let's practice. Oh, there's no practice for that. Okay, let's continue next. Edward, repeat. Would you say?
Would you say
Opinion.
opinion?
Very good. Okay, listen. Opinion is a noun. It is a thought or belief about something or someone. When we express, when we use the expression would you say when we ask somebody for his opinion about something, it means do you think? Okay, let's practice. When do we use the expression would you say? When do we use the expression would you say? We use
We
the
use
expression
the
would you
expression
say
would you
when
say
we ask
when
somebody
we ask
for
somebody
his opinion
for his
about
opinion
something.
about something.
Very good. Would you say that the king's life was better than that of the average man? Would you say that the king's life was better than that of the average man? Yes or no?
No, I
I
don't.
wouldn't say
I wouldn't
that a
say
king's life
that a king's
was
wife
better than
was better
that
than
of
that of
the average man.
the average man.
Very good. Okay, next, listen. Notice that we use the past tense after would you say because it is part of the conditional structure. When we use would you say, we use the past tense. Let's practice. Which tense do we use after the expression would you say? Which tense do we use after the expression would you say? We use
We
the past
use
tense
the past tense
after the expression
after the
would you
expression
say.
of would you say.
What would you say was the best way to remember something? What would you say was the best way to remember something? I say
I
that
said
the best
that
way
the best
to
way
remember something
to remember
was to
something
repeat it often.
was to repeat it often.
Very good. Thanks, repeat. Look
Look,
plus adjective.
last adjective.
Very good. Okay. So let's learn about using the word look plus any adjective. Listen, for example, look, some examples of look plus adjective are look dark, look dirty, look cloudy, look hungry, looks full, etc. For example, the sky looks dark and cloudy today. When my shoes look dirty, I clean them. Let's practice. If the sky looks dark and cloudy, do you sometimes decide not to go out? When if the sky looks dark and cloudy, do you sometimes decide not to go out? Yes. If the
Yes,
sky
if the
looks
sky
dark and
looks dark
cloudy,
and
I
cloudy,
sometimes decide
I sometimes decide
not to go out.
not to go out.
When your shoes look dirty, what do you do? When your shoes look dirty, what do you do? When my shoe
When my
look
shoes
dirty,
look
I
dirty,
clean them.
I clean them.
Very good. Next repeat. Get in,
Get in,
get out of,
get out of,
get on,
get on,
get off,
get off,
taxi,
taxi,
fare.
pair.
Very good. Okay, listen. Get in, get out of, get on, and get off are all phrasal verbs. We get in or into a car, but we get on or onto a bus, a train, a plane, or a ship. We get out of a car, but we get off a bus, a train, a plane, or a ship. Taxi is a noun. A taxi is a public car with a driver who you pay to take you somewhere. Fare is a noun. It is the money that you pay for traveling on a vehicle such as a taxi, a train, etc. For example, we pay for the fare when we get out of the taxi. Let's practice. Do we pay the driver when we get in a taxi? Do we pay the driver when we get in a taxi? No, we don't
No,
pay
we
the
don't
driver
pay that
when
driver
we get in
when we
a
get in
taxi.
a taxi.
We pay when
We
we get
pay
out.
when we get out.
But in your country, do you have to pay to buy a ticket before getting onto a bus? In your country, do you have to buy a ticket before getting onto a bus? Yes or no?
Yes,
In my
we
country,
in my
you
country
have to buy
you
a
have to
ticket
buy a ticket
before getting on a
before
bus.
getting on a bus.
How much is the bus fare from your home to your office? How much is the bus fare from your home to your office? The bus fare
The bus
from
fare
my
from
home
my home
to my office
to
is
my office is 210 yen.
yen. Very good. Next, repeat royal.
Loyal,
Very good. Okay, listen. Royal is an adjective. So kings, queens, prince, and princesses belongs to a royal family. Example sentence, my country hasn't got a royal family. Let's practice. Has your country got a royal family? Has your country got a royal family? Yes or no?
Yes.
My country's got
My country is
a
got
royal family.
a loyal family.
Very good. Okay, so now let's move on to reading.
Okay.
Okay, so our reading is at stage 4, paragraph page 245. And our last headword was got. Okay, so start with headword until, till.
Okay. Un- until till. We will be in this room until 10 o'clock this evening.